Are you doing ASMR?
Yes.
I'm cooming from the sounds.
Wow.
That was ASMR by Vic and Hope, I guess. I can only keep so much of this in at the start of the episode. Howdy! R. It's impossible to start one of these in a way that makes any sense to anyone.
Yeah, I mean,
welcome to another Vic and Hope Talking About a Thing show. It's the show where we talk about things.
It's Vic and Hope.
Holy shit! Howdy! That's the new theme song. It goes, the episode starts and I go, holy shit! Howdy! And then that's Vic and Hope. That's terrible. It's not good.
Bro, you've never even been to Texas, dog.
Don't let that one commenter know that we don't live in Texas. That guy legitimately thinks we live in Texas now.
Oh, I mean, we live in Texas.
We live in Texas. This is Texas.
What's famous Texas thing?
Texas Pete?
Texas Pete.
Yeah.
The bull that you can ride in the bars.
The Alamo.
The Alamo.
I remember the Alamo. I remember the Alamo every fucking day. Barbecue? Is that a Texas thing?
Yeah.
I guess.
Texans are really pretentious about their
propane and propane accessories. Anywho, Texas aside, we just finished... What? We're gonna do that now that I'm talking!
Welcome to Vic and Hope.
We just finished watching Infinity Train!
Where is the passenger? I'm getting off this train. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Infinity Train.
Wow, it's infinite.
It is infinite.
But by infinite, we mean it's 3 seasons.
Yeah, so there's 3 seasons. This is a cartoon. It was on Cartoon Network, and now it's on HBO Max. I don't know if it still airs on Cartoon Network
The third season did air on Cartoon Network.
But it does say HBO Max original, so it is on life support, I guess, through HBO Max.
Is that like a Netflix thing, where like Netflix gets an anime, and then they're like, now it's a Netflix original? And it's like, but it's not, but okay.
I don't know. I don't know how these things fucking work. But it lives on HBO Max, and that's where we watch it, because we have HBO Max now, and it's part of the HBO Max cartoon lineup that is drawing us in and keeping us there, I guess.
This is the first place this show has streamed, so it's first opportunity to reach a wider audience.
Yeah, because season 1 we watched, obviously, on, on Cartoon Network when it aired. Wink. No, we didn't. We watched it illegally on Kiss Cartoon. Anyway.
Yeah, and the quality was real good.
Yeah, it looked like total ass. Did we even finish season 1?
We did not.
We didn't even finish it.
So we started it.
Yeah. For various reasons that we'll get into. So 3 seasons have passed now.
Correct.
We've caught up on all of them.
Yes.
I guess I should say, would you recommend Infinity Train to the viewers before we start getting into spoilers? Is this worth watching without us spoiling it?
If you like cartoons, if you have a little bit of time to kill, if you don't mind laughing at things that are kind of dumb, but taking the good from it anyway, then yeah, I'd say you should watch it. I recommended it to some friends, but those friends are a bit softer and more lib-cucked than I am, so I knew they would enjoy it.
More lib-cucked is a good way to put it, I guess. It kind of, it's like... I imagine this being someone's favorite cartoon if they're 12.
Yeah. Because
it is, like... It's got deeper themes.
So deep.
Deeper themes.
Baby's first deep themes.
If this were in a Cartoon Network lineup and Codename Kids Next Door came on and then this came on, this would be the art. Like,
yeah.
It's a show that's very much trying to be artsy and heady and deep, but is ultimately poorly written, kind of inane, and ultimately poorly executed.
Yeah. So I guess a little bit of backstory, because the guy who created this show was a storyboarder on regular show. And I think that's how he came to get his own, like, mini-series.
He probably pitched it, and did a pilot or whatever, and they probably went, this is too risky to make a series, but we'll give you a mini-series.
But we'll give you 6 episodes. Yeah. We'll do a special over the course of a week.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a thin premise.
It is.
The premise of the show is there's an infinite train.
It's the infinity train.
So kids are this is kind of getting into spoiler. People in general are sent to the infinity train, and they're given a number on their hand, a mark of sacrifice of sorts.
Yes.
And
That's how you know the God Hand is near. The lower the number, the closer the God Hand.
Like, season 1 is all about the mystery of, like, why is main girl on train? What is the number on her hand, and why is it going up and down? And you don't know why, even though it's pretty fucking obvious.
Pretty
like,
clear.
It's very heavy-handed.
If you're a kid, you probably think it's really mysterious.
It could be. It's kind of like a shit quality Over the Garden Wall. Mm-hmm. Because Over the Garden Wall is about the same thing, but, like, really good, you know?
I'm pretty sure that this show only exists because Over the Garden Wall became cult successful.
Yeah.
Because Over the Garden Wall was the first series that had the opportunity to do that, like, 5-night mini-series and did it really well, and that probably opened the door.
In, like, recent, I'm sure there's ones that
I'm sure, but in modern era Cartoon Network, Over the Garden Wall probably proved that those high concept, like, deeper meaning kind of stories can be done in the mini-series format.
Yeah. It's a very focused series that has good themes, good aesthetics, solid, it doesn't stretch itself too thin. It has a plot because it's only 6 episodes long. It's perfect. Over the Garden Wall is a perfect example of
beautiful
the format. This is a bad example of the format.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's a premise that they thought was interesting, and they stretch it as thin as possible to varying degrees of interesting,
Infinity Train feels like the cartoon version of the, like, Boxcar Boys or, like, Nancy Drew or something like that. Like, one of those serials that's meant for kids in book form that goes on forever. Like Magic School Bus.
Or the Magic Tree House.
There we go, the Magic Tree
House. I like
House
Magic
is what
Tree
I was
House
trying
as a
to,
kid. I read a lot
what
of
I was
those.
trying to go for. It's like the Magic Tree House. And that there's an interesting, like, premise, and then you stretch it out as long as you can in short form stories.
Yeah, I guess so. Because, okay, back to the premise. The people are trapped on this train. Each car has a different, like, pocket universe in it, essentially. Like, the cars are bigger on the inside than they are on the outside.
It's like
they
House
can be
of Leaves.
Some of them are like just a room, some of them are an entire desert or something like that.
Like a country.
And they have to, like, each car has a gimmick, and they have to do a puzzle, essentially, to get out of the car.
To pass through the car.
And the puzzles, as it is revealed over the course of the show, by the end of season 1, and sort of continuing into season 2, it's designed to help you work through your personal fucking mental hangups.
It's free therapy.
Yeah, it's a therapeutic experience designed to challenge you in ways to help you discover stuff about yourself, so that your
to
number
grow as a person.
Yeah, the more you grow as a person and get over your bullshit, the lower your number is, and then when your number hits 0, a portal opens up and you're let off the train back into reality. It's little unclear. Like, it seems as though time is passing normally on the train, and you age on the train, and then when you go back to the human world, you have aged, and you were gone all that time, which is a little bizarre.
Seems a little traumatic, maybe, for kids.
Yeah.
Like, if the kids fuck up real bad and they're in there for a long time, and then they come home and everything's just like they left it, they'd be like, oh, Chronicles of Narnia kind of did that too, so, like, I don't know.
Like, there's strong elements to that. Like, it's an interesting concept, kind of. They go into it in as much depth as you fucking can with this thin premise. But it's very much like, this could have worked as, like, a movie or just one OVA, but now they've made 3 seasons on it, and it's like, it's trapped within itself in a weird way.
Yeah. Well, I will say, spoiler alert, the creator of the show has expressed that he feels as though he has ideas for 8 seasons.
Oh my god.
So, the show is on the brink of cancellation, but he has stated that he has enough ideas to go for 8 seasons.
Well,
So this
I
is
know
the
why, because I
vision.
already know what the next season's going to be
Oh,
about.
yeah,
Because
obviously.
each season, they do actually do a good job of planting the main character of the next season
Into
the current
this
season.
current season.
Even though it's pretty, like, you notice the formula, and then you're like, okay, this is, like,
Yeah, you're like, oh,
really
okay,
obvious.
Okay. These are the guys.
But, like, so season 1 is about this girl. She's a girl programmer, and she wants to go to a programming camp or some shit.
Her name is Tulip, and she's a gamer.
Yeah, she's a gamer, and she wants to be a programmer. Blah, 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 blah. And she sucks complete fucking ass. She's totally obnoxious. And she gets put on the train. She doesn't know why she's there. And it's about her going through the train, and there's a conductor, and it's this evil fucking monster robot. And she goes through, and eventually she's got two companions,
She
a talking
accrues
dog,
some
and
companions.
an obnoxious split personality robot. And, like, it's...
Bipolar disorder in media, Victor.
Like, they have these gimmicks to these extra characters, and they're, like, comic relief characters, but they are not funny. Ever.
Well, the problem is no one in the show is funny.
Yeah. It's really
So
terrible jokes left and right. It's never
Like,
funny.
Tulip is the bad version of Cora.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she's even younger and
Yeah.
worse.
It's like if you
and
hate
there's no
Cora,
redeeming
you're
cool
gonna
qualities.
hate Tulip.
Yeah, she's Cora turned up to 11 for sure. Or she's just like an entitled prick and won't shut the fuck up or be nice to literally fucking anyone
But her
until the very
parents are
end.
getting divorced.
I want to program. I'm a programmer.
Why won't mom and dad stop yelling at each other?
It's a thing where it's like this character is like 11 and she's so completely passionate about programming that are we meant to believe that she knows literally a single thing about what the fuck she's doing?
I mean, there's kids that can do that shit now.
Or they're just one of those kids who's like fucking around and thinks whatever they're making is just god tier because they're a child, probably.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway,
There's a lot more resources
the point is she
available
fucking sucks. She's annoying
now.
as shit, and then each season is an escalation of worse characters from there. Tulip fucking sucks. She is annoying.
I would
I don't
say
know. More well,
if you're ranking character annoyingness,
I would say
I'm gonna say the characters in season 2 are peak annoying.
Yeah.
Then there's Tulip and Atticus and 1-1, and then it's Grace and Simon
Yeah.
and Tuba and Hazel.
Well, I guess season 3, it's like it is like the point is to be a progression of these being worse people, but season 3 definitely has better characters.
Yeah, the
They're
worst
worse
people are
but
the
better
most
characters.
interesting to watch.
Yeah. Because, like, season 1, all about Tulip and her obnoxious journey, and she fucking sucks, and then she gets
There's
off the
really
train
no
at the end.
stakes to Tulip's journey
Yeah.
either. It's just like learn to stop being a brat.
It's really stupid. And, like, the strength of the show is in the premise. The train, you go into each car, it's a different world. It allows them to explore a lot of different, like, fun places. Some of them are cool and neat, but, like, they're never explored in any depth. They're never there for more than an episode.
And most of the time, the gimmick of the car is explored very shortly.
Yeah,
It's a small bit of the episode.
Like, it's the best part of the episode is the fun gimmick of the car, but the characters are all being annoying pricks. And it's like, this show would work for me if it were just like Finn and Jake go and do the adventure trade, which already happened.
That happened in Adventure Time.
That's another terrible thing, is that there was already an Infinity Trade in Adventure Time.
There was an Infinity Train in Adventure Time.
And that was awesome. That was a great episode.
Exactly, because that concept has already been done in a 12-minute episode of Adventure Time.
Yeah. Where this is really missing out is, like, it would be cool if maybe there's a different art aesthetic in each train. Like, maybe they go in one and it's the real world, you know? There's limitless possibilities they could do with this. Yes, infinite. Infinity Trade. There's so much they could do, but they don't do any of that.
Yeah.
It's just... most of the cars are vapid, dumb shit. They don't focus enough on the fun of being on the Infinity Trade. It's always characters bickering, and they never shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And they're all just terrible people and
most
are
of the time
annoying.
it's just Tulip, like, just narking on everyone for no
Yeah,
reason.
she's literally traveling with, like, the fun, adorable companions, and she's just shitting on them mercilessly.
Constantly, all the time.
And
To
then-
the point where, like, one of them has a mental breakdown in one of the cars and almost destroys it. And you're like, yeah, Tulip, that's kind of your fault. You suck.
And so it's like season 1's all about her. Season 2, you get into... there's an episode in season 1 where Tulip goes into a car and there's a mirror on the ground, and then her reflection is moving on its own. Ooh. And her reflection tricks her into switching places. And then reflection Tulip is now
MT Mirror Tulip.
So I like literally all the ideas of this piss me off to no end, and I find them completely fucking annoying because there's Mirror Tulip, and Mirror Tulip has been living in the mirror her Tulip's entire life, and watching her fuck up with their friends and family and being like, I want to be real Tulip.
The gimmick with Mirror Tulip is if like Us was made into a children's show.
Yeah.
Because it's the same gimmick with Us, where it's like they're mirror people who are forced to reflect everything the people above ground are doing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
But, like, so Mirror Tulip breaks out, but then the Mirror World police come after her. Which is like, it's okay in that episode. It's like, okay, this is ridiculous. It's being fun, it's being ridiculous, it's this goofy Mirror World shit, you know? It's fine within the context of that episode. And then she ends up freeing Mirror Tulip through shenanigans. So Mirror Tulip is free from the Mirror World. The Mirror Police start coming after her because you can't escape the Mirror World. Ah! And then
that's not allowed.
She eventually she gets Mirror Tulip out of the mirror car. Yeah. How did she do that? There was some gimmick she had to do.
She had a reflective surface that she tied to Mirror Tulip so that she could leave, because she needs to have a reflective surface in order to exist above.
She has to be touching a reflective surface so she becomes one with the mirror and is able to leave.
You know.
So, that seems like a fine premise for an episode. What was wrong with that? They neat. Mirror worlds, whatever. That sounds, whatever. Bullshit. Season 2 is about Mirror Tulip.
Yes.
Regular Tulip has escaped the train.
Yes.
And
Regular Tulip became a good girl. She ends up meeting the conductor, who is actually a false conductor, and the little robot that's been traveling with her is the real conductor.
Yeah.
And you get the backstory of the false conductor, that she married this guy who died of an illness, and then she built the train to bring him back. Some human transmutation bullshit.
I don't think she built the train. I was under the impression from the end of season 1 that she had built the train.
From 1-1?
But 1-1 is the conductor, so she couldn't have, she would have made herself the conductor if she built the train.
That's true.
And in season 3, it seems like she's just been on the train. She has a number and stuff.
She does. She's the biggest number.
Yeah, so whatever, stupid bullshit. 1-1's a true conductor, who cares?
Also, they do try to add stakes into the first season, because there are these shadow cockroach dogs called gomes that exist on the outside of the train. So if you try to escape the train before your number has hit 0, the gomes come for you and they suck the soul out of your body.
But they're also on the train, right?
Well, I think it's very plot convenient when the gomes can get on the train.
I don't understand what the fuck they are.
Because usually they're not on the train, but then when the plot calls for it to make it dramatic, they are on the train.
I completely don't get what the fuck they are.
Because there's that episode where they go to, there's the kids' play place car, and they're there, and the fake conductor finds them. Maybe it's because she can control the gomes, because the gome almost she transforms Atticus, the corgi doggy, into a gome, and then Tulip has to go on the big mission to turn him back.
That's where we don't know what the fuck they are. It seems like she's creating them, but then she wasn't the real conductor, she was a robot, and then but they're still around, and it's what the fuck are these? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they are.
They are there for plot convenience and to give repercussions for leaving the train in a way you're not supposed to.
It's really fucking it's stupid.
It's total plot convenience asshole kind of stuff.
Anyway, so season 2 is all about Mirror Tulip.
My favorite character.
Who is Tulip, but worse.
My favorite cast of characters, which is Mirror Tulip, some fuckboy, and a deer.
Yeah, Mirror Tulip has been traveling with a deer for some reason. It's a magic deer.
She's traveling by herself, so she has this big journey at the beginning of the season where she discovers herself. She cuts off her hair, and she gets a piercing. Did she do that piercing herself?
Yeah. Lala's having a ball over there playing on my tripod bag. Don't make me have to edit this. Keep talking.
she gets a piercing and she shaves her hair, and now she's a bad, tough girl who don't need
Tulip.
she don't need no mirror person to hold her down, and so she's spending all of her time avoiding mirrored surfaces because the mirror police are still after her.
Yeah.
She makes her way into this like forest car, and she meets a deer, and the deer has superpowers, and it can like shoot lasers out of its eyes and do all sorts of wacky bullshit. And
Whoa,
then,
lol, so random, dear lol.
Wow. And the deer can grow hands, just like the deer in Adventure Time had hands and was murdering everyone.
Very original.
Very original. But then through meeting the deer, she also meets, I think his name is Jesse. He's just like some high school dude he's just a nice boy, and you're like, he's so nice. Why is he on the train?
And his number is real low the whole time.
His number's very low.
Because he's a good boy.
He's just been a good boy, and he
then
has a lesson to learn.
He is established as a very good boy who's well-meaning and funny and fun, and he's just having a good time. And then Mirror Tulip is a insane bitch to him for no fucking reason. It is just laying into him constantly.
She's
for no
constantly
reason.
ripping into
no
Jesse.
fucking reason. He's done nothing wrong, and she just treats him like absolute shit. And it's like, how did you get this way? I don't understand. It wasn't established that Mirror Tulip was like evil Tulip,
or
you know?
like she had like I get that she has bitterness from being stuck as the reflection and shit, but like, why would that make you? You're free now. Why would you be a raging bitch to everyone you meet?
Because at the end, when she was freed, she was like, oh, I'm excited. I'm going to go live my own life, and I'm going to be free, and I'm going to explore the train, and this is going to be great. And she seemed optimistic.
She seemed really excited, and then she just became a huge asshole?
Yeah.
So I was like, huh.
She's a total fucking dick.
All right.
And then all of season 2 is just about those two fucking losers traveling together. And then the big climax is good boy gets off the train by getting his number down.
Because he's a good boy.
Mirror Tulip is mad because she can't get off the train because she can't get a number. And so she's trying to get a number so she can get off the train. She can't get a number. And
the mirror police are still chasing her down this whole time.
Mirror police have been chasing her down, blah, 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 blah. And then good boy, like, comes back to the train to get Mirror Tulip.
Yes.
I don't know how he got back on the train.
He willed it to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, because you're supposed to have some shit to work through in order to be brought to the train.
Yeah.
And then 1-1 just brings him back on the train, and he's like, oh, that's weird. Why are you back?
Because his original thing, like, he was a super good boy, except due to peer pressure, he kind of bullied his little brother a little bit.
And his little brother broke his arm because they did an epic prank, bro.
So then it's like, so does anyone who does anything kind of bad end up on the train?
Yes.
This should be just loaded with people.
Did you steal a Snickers bar from the 7-Eleven to the train?
You're on the train, bitch. Mirror Tulip, like, she steals one of the fucking pods. There's, like, pods that drop people off on the train. She rides a pod back to the pod place where they take everyone's memories into tapes and shit.
She probably really fucked that dude up. That was, like, an older dude that was
like,
on the train, and she just
pod.
literally throws him out of the pod. Who knows where on the train? He'll never find his way back. He'll never be able to get his number and get off the train. She just fucked his whole life.
Yeah, Mirror Tulip fucking sucks.
She's the worst.
Anyways, at the end, good boy comes back, and then he's able, by using the reflective surface of her hand, he puts his number against her hand, and so she has a reflected number. And so their numbers fucking become the same, and they get off the train together.
They get off the train, which I feel like is kind of against the point of the train, because she never learned anything. She never stopped being a bitch. She threw a tantrum until she got her way. Like, that's not personal growth.
Pretty much.
You just bitched until you got what you want.
The only thing she realized is that she liked the guy that she was being an asshole to the entire time, and she kind of stopped being an asshole to him as much.
Cool. But then, the piece de resistance.
Yes.
When she gets off the train with Jesse, and Jesse's little brother is there with his stupid broken arm, and he's like, wow, who's this metallic girlfriend that you brought home? And the whole time she's been going by MT for Mirror Tulip. And Jesse's brother is like, what's your name? And Mirror Tulip looks around, and she sees a lake in front of her, and just goes, it's Lake. And I'm like,
Lake.
Ah! It's Lake.
Her name is Lake.
The first she saw and she just went, that's it, that's my name.
And the other guys are like, yeah, Lake!
Sick, dude.
That's a perfect name!
Yes,
cool!
dog, Lake. I love it, bro.
Dude,
Lake.
You're like a large,
like-
vast body of water.
Cold and merciless.
Yeah, true.
That would be like, if you were born and your parents just looked around the hospital room and named you the first thing they saw. Like,
Bed.
IV pump. This is my child, IV pump. This is my child, morphine.
I'm gonna name you Floor, because I gave birth to you on the floor.
Halogen, for the halogen lights I was staring up at as I gave birth to you.
Her name shall be Bathtub. For I gave birth in the bathtub. Or perhaps backseat. I named my child Camaro.
Camaro!
For she was born in the backseat of a bitchin' Camaro.
At least that's like a real story.
Yeah,
As
it
opposed
could
to
be,
just showing
like-
up in front of a lake and saying, that's my name now.
It's at least like kind of a real exotic name, you know? You can imagine some
At least I could,
idiot
if
naming
I,
their kid
yeah,
Camaro.
I could imagine I'm at work and I see someone come up on my list and their name is Camaro and I'd be like, yeah, that's right. That seems fair. Lake.
Season 3!
Ooh, lake. Yikes.
So, during one of the episodes in Season 2, we're introduced to,
The
Apex. Which is a band of kids. A
It's
rowdy
real Neverland
band of
out
kids.
here, bitch.
Yeah, they're the fucking... What are the Robin
the
Hood's
never grow
boys?
up boys.
They're never grow up boys.
I don't know.
Except they do grow up on the train.
Yes.
But they have their own society, and they have created a twisted philosophy about the train, where they believe that the train is their gift. They have been given the gift of staying on the train, and the purpose of the train is to get your number as high as you possibly can
Why?
by being a fucking prick to everyone. They have decided that the NPCs on the train are called nulls and that they are soulless and you can murder them as much as you want.
You can
and
fuck them up and it doesn't matter.
They literally exist for you to fuck with. And they think that all the train premises are bullshit. That's all fucking lame. That's child fucking gay shit. They're not doing any of that.
Fuck that.
They're
We're
gonna be
people.
rowdy boys. They're gonna do whatever the fuck they want, which could be cool if they didn't suck ass, which they do.
Which they do.
So we meet them in Season 2. It's very obvious, like, oh, this is going to be Season 3.
This is
like,
gonna go, somewhere. Clearly.
yeah, they wouldn't introduce these characters and have this whole society if it weren't going somewhere. So they're already bored with Season 2's plot midway through.
Right.
And
They're
are
like, all right, look
introducing
forward
the
to
next
this.
season.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was certainly bored of Season 2's plot. Immediately sick of it. Episode 1, it was like, am I really not dropping this right now? I guess it's really short, so we might as well keep going. Because it's like 10-minute episodes,
Yeah.
and there's
I
10
mean,
of
they
them.
go
It's
by
like,
so quick
yeah.
that you're just kind of like,
You could watch all 3 seasons in an afternoon and be like, alright, okay,
Yeah.
I guess that was a cartoon, you know?
yeah.
I guess I for some reason, I'm an adult who watches cartoons. I don't know. I guess it's one of
Oh,
the...
I'm sorry. Would you rather be watching NCIS Miami?
Look, when you watch something like Korra, you feel like, I'm an adult watching cartoons, and cartoons are good, and I can defend my interests.
Okay.
When I watch Infinity Train, I'm like, I'm an adult watching cartoons, and I'm ashamed of myself because they suck.
Victor, you need to plumb the depths of mediocre cartoons to
I know.
appreciate the heights of great cartoons.
I mean, that's
Just
where
like horror.
like Infinity Train, you know, it's not great. It's not
mediocre.
even really good. It's mediocre, but that's still probably better than a vast majority of things
would you
out
rather
there.
watch Infinity Train or Johnny Test?
Infinity Train?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, I mean, they serve different purposes, but anyway, Season 3, it's about the Apex Twins.
That's about Oh.
So
Ugh.
you've got the 2 leaders of the Apex are a
Right.
girl.
So you have Grace, and you have Simon.
Yeah. So Grace has the highest number.
She's the HBIC.
Yeah, so she's the leader 'cause she has the highest number, and Simon's the second in command because he's the second highest number, even though they also literally started this.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know why you...
So, like, who else would be in charge?
Yeah, like, are you gonna worship whoever
Also,
comes along with the higher number?
Everyone else in your group is, like, 6?
Yeah.
So who is challenging you for authority here?
There's no one else around who also grew up in this group. It's like they spent, like, 5 years and then started recruiting 6-year-olds out of nowhere.
Yep. Because it is later explained that they both came to the train when they were probably, like, 7.
Yeah. And season 3 is definitely the best season by far.
Oh, by far.
Like it's much, much better than the first 2.
It's especially so much better than season 2.
Yeah, way, way better than that. All around, like, if every season were like season 3, I would say, like, oh yeah, it's a good show.
It's pretty good.
You know?
You could be like, that's pretty good.
Season 3, I came away from being like, wow, and there were some big surprises that I was like, oh shit, oh fuck. Now, is the moment to moment still tedious and annoying? Yes.
A little bit.
So the two adults are separated from their group.
Yes, Grace and Simon get separated from the Apex.
Yeah.
Because there's been anomalies on the cars, and the car that they're in ends up taking off and is ejected to the back of a train.
Yeah, so they gotta go find their boys. So they're in this car and they meet up with a little girl and Tuba.
Tuba.
What's the little girl's name?
Her name is Hazel.
Hazel and Tuba. Hazel is a little blonde child, and she's happy. I'm Hazel.
She's a kid.
Very much like fucking happy little girl bait. Like,
Very
you
much
are
like
meant to love her. You know,
the anime little sister kind of
Yeah.
girl. Yeah.
She's kind of like the fucking fairy retard thing from SAO. Like the fucking daughter.
God damn it. Yui.
Fuck Yui. But, yeah, I mean, she's basically Yui.
She is,
where it's
yeah,
like, this
kinda
is
Yui.
a perfect moe little girl for you to want to protect
She
and
has
be
done
her
nothing
dad.
wrong.
She
is
has done nothing wrong.
flawless.
She is pure in every way. And so they meet her and her guardian Tuba, which is a gorilla with, like...
A purple gorilla with tubas.
Tubas coming off of it. And, it is her mom of sorts. It is her motherly
guardian
figure.
unit.
Tuba is a woman with a man's voice.
Correct.
Just want to establish because
Tuba is a female with a male presenting voice.
It's an interesting choice because it's kind of like a Dr. Girlfriend, but but it's a giant ape and it's just like some guy's voice and it's not addressed in any sort of way or like. I don't know if it's meant to be funny. I don't know if it's just a thing. I don't know if this is a gender commentary. It just is a thing. It's just a quirky thing that's there. Tuba is a woman. I guess it's not important at all.
It's really not
completely not important. I don't know if it's meant to be some kind of fucking
because, like, Tuba,
commentary or anything.
All that matters is that Tuba is a good parent, which she is.
Yes.
So
Tuba's a good parent. But the Apex twins are like. She's a human girl, and she's got a number written on her hand, but it's not glowing. Why is it not glowing? We don't know why it's not glowing. What's up with that?
Why would that be the case?
But they see that she's a human. She's like, oh, you need to come with us, and we're gonna take you to fucking Neverland, and there's no Peter Pan's not gonna molest you or nothing. It's totally chill. But you gotta come back with us. You're gonna be part of our crew and shit. And she's like, yeah, I've never met any other kids before. This is like my life's dream.
Right.
Like I've always
She's
wanted to
just
meet
stoked
other
to hang
kids,
out with other kids,
other passengers on the car. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm just some stupid little girl. So Hazel and Tuba start traveling with the Apex twins. So over the course of the show, what's the girl's name? Grace.
Yes,
right?
the main the leader girl.
Grace starts bonding with Hazel and becoming BFFs with her and stuff. Simon is very against taking Tuba along.
First of all, let's get one thing straight. Simon is 1,000,000,000% simping for Grace 100,000% of the time.
He's all over Grace's nuts.
His personality is that he's obsessed with Grace and he's kind of a dick.
Well, like they are kind of in a relationship. It is implied that they are somewhat romantic or that there's sort of an understanding. I'm not sure.
I think Grace probably uses that to maintain control, but she's not really romantically interested.
Yeah, or not that deeply romantically interested. I'm not sure.
I didn't read it that.
It seems like
it felt very one-sided to me.
They were playing it that way for the first half, and then the second half it feels completely one-sided.
Yeah.
Like it kind of 180s.
She starts changing that far in, and she starts going, I don't really dig that.
Yeah. So Grace, through bonding with Hazel, starts to grow and change.
Wow.
And so initially they're super resistant to playing along with the car, but Hazel's so chill that she's like, "Oh, I want to do the car stuff,
and I want to interact with the car
with
in the way you're supposed to.
I don't want to harass random
Right? I don't want to
NPCs."
be mean to these guys. They're
Whereas
just hanging
Simon's like,
out.
"We fuck up gnolls. We hate them. They're
I
gay,
will punch
dude.
every gnoll in the
I hate
face."
gnolls, bro. They're fucking lame, dog." And he's like, "Oh, Tuba's a gnoll, bro. We gotta get rid of Tuba, bruh." And,
He basically does say to Hazel, like, we need to fucking murder Tuba. And
Yeah.
Hazel's like, no.
And he's got that, like, he doesn't understand how to talk to a child freaky aura to him, you
Very
know?
much.
Where he's, like,
Yeah.
overly baby talking to her when she's clearly demonstrated that she is an intelligent little girl, and, like, Grace
Or, like,
talks to her like she's normal,
he has no finesse about it, you know?
Yeah.
He literally just says the thing he means, and you're like, whoa.
They do a good job of making him very transparently, like, he can't even lie to a child
Yeah.
about how much of a fucking prick he is.
And he
He's
can't empathize
totally
in any
transparent.
capacity.
Yeah, he's a complete sociopath, as we learn over the course of the season. So Grace and Hazel are bonding. Simon starts to get very suspicious of Grace because her number starts to go down, and then she starts covering it up. Because, you know, she's learning about herself, so her number's going down.
Uh-oh.
So,
Self-discovery.
Eventually it gets to the point where Simon's like, "All right, I'm fucking sick of Tuba." He's getting all
I'm
jealous of
fucking sick of Tuba.
he's getting all
Well-
jealous of Hazel and Grace, you know.
All this comes after they have an episode where, like, Simon works together with Tuba to solve a car to get
Yeah.
them through. So you're like, oh, well, they had this little breakthrough where Simon and Tuba have this nice little interaction,
Yeah.
and Tuba proves that, you know, she's a good dude. She's part of the team. She's contributing. She cares about Hazel, and she's willing to put aside her distrust of Simon if it makes Hazel happy.
Yeah. So this is where his distrust of the gnolls, as they call them, comes from his ordeal with the cat. The cat has been a character since season 1. Initially, she was a bad guy. Then she kind of becomes like a nuanced, like, Catwoman, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she's in the middle, sort of neutral party.
She is
and then
very
by the end of season 2,
neutral.
she's basically a good guy.
Yeah.
And so in season 3, we learned that he had an ordeal with the cat, so we're like, oh, the cat must have really fucked him over, you know?
Oh, she clearly fucked him up. Why else would he act like this?
And so it turns out, like, he was friends with the cat, and then the cat, like, something happened. And so they have an episode where they meet the cat, and he has conflict. He has to confront, you know, his feelings with the cat.
His trauma with the cat.
But it turns out that the cat apparently just left him somewhere.
She fucked up. She
Yeah.
she states that she didn't mean to do it, but by the time it had happened and she realized that he was gone, it was, like, too late for her to go back. And she acknowledges that she fucked up, but she didn't do it maliciously.
Yeah. But she never saw him again until this point. But, so moving on from this car, his hatred is restored because he had to meet the cat again. And so he decides Tuba's going down. And so
Destroy the gnolls.
he gets Tuba basically alone, and he murders Tuba.
So there's a thing in the show called wheeling. This is something that Apexes do to the
Yeah.
gnolls, which is just throwing them onto the wheels of the train. Because when you're between cars, there's a little bridge, and from either side you can see the wheels, so it's easy to push someone down into the wheels. The cars are in the process of, like, moving again. And Hazel and Grace get separated to one side, and then Tuba and Simon get stuck on the other side. So as the car is, like, being separated, Simon manages to wheel Tuba in an angle where Grace, like, not Grace, Hazel can't see it happen.
Yeah.
She doesn't physically see it done. I mean, she knows.
Yeah.
She knows what happened, but she doesn't,
But
like,
yeah,
see it.
Tuba was murdered, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That was pretty
You
fun,
see Tuba
you
get
know?
murdered, and you're like, oh.
You're like, damn,
I
alright, they
liked
went there.
Tuba.
Okay,
Oh.
fuck, Tuba got murdered. Just straight up dead.
She got fucking straight murdered.
So then from that point onward, it becomes very much Grace versus Simon, sort of. Grace realizes, she's like, I love this child, Hazel. We need to get the fuck away from this guy, but I don't know
Well,
how, basically.
There's a kink that develops in the plan, because when Tuba is murdered, Hazel is experiencing a lot of emotional distress, and this reveals the fact that she's actually a gnoll.
Mm-hmm.
So what it is it seems like she's like a kappa or like a turtle of some sort, and she's been, like, disguising herself as a human. We don't know if this is something she did.
She doesn't
to, like,
know. She doesn't know that
yeah,
she's
she doesn't
doing
seem to
this.
be aware of it.
It seems to be the first time it's happened
it freaks her out when it happens. So I don't know if, like, she was as soon as she was created, she appeared as a human, and so she never had any concept of that, or it was like a repressed memory, whatever. Either way, she is like a Kappa in her like base form, but she's been like protecting herself by appearing as a human. So now Grace knows that she is a null, but she's so attached to Hazel at this point, and she's learned that like the denizens of the train have their own feelings and you know, are creatures that are alive, and so she doesn't want to just murder all of them like Simon does.
And Simon has literally just murdered Tuba, so she's like
the
we
most
gotta stay the fuck away.
Denizen they've ever met, and he just straight murdered her.
So naturally she thinks he's gonna murder Hazel if he finds out.
Which is probably accurate.
Yeah. So it becomes trying to get away from Simon. Simon's flipping his fucking shit for episodes on end.
Just really inselling the fuck out of it.
Yeah, his numbers all growing and stuff. And then they meet a woman who, she was the false conductor. And so the Apex, they worship the false conductor. Or they worship the original conductor, who the false conductor they thought was the OG conductor.
Yes. And then 1-1 is the false conductor to them.
Even though 1-1 is the actual conductor of the train.
Conductor.
Fucking, I hate it. It's stupid. I think all that stuff is stupid. They at least establish that Simon is an aspiring fantasy novel author.
Yes.
So, like, it explains their code and shit. It's like, obviously he came up with all of this because he's, like, a fantasy novel guy, you know? And that kind of, like, excuses their retarded bullshit. Yeah, so they worship the false conductor or whatever, and they meet the woman who was the false conductor, who is now working for 1-1 to fix the glitches in the train, because her number is going all the way up her neck and shit.
Yes.
She has truly the largest number, and she's trying to redeem herself by helping people out.
Yes, so that's Amelia, who we encountered in the first season. She's the one who her husband died of of whatever disease, and she tried to manipulate a car into bringing him back. And so now she's making amends by working with 1-1 to fix glitches.
Season 4 is obviously going to be about her.
Her and Hazel.
Because they introduce her, and Hazel goes with her in the end. Because they have a big conflict with her, and then basically Simon gets a thing from the cat that allows him to read Grace's memories, which have been used in each season, basically. So he makes a tape out of her memories. He watches her memories and finds out about the Kappa. And then there's actually one of the coolest scenes in the whole show where he ends up trapping Grace in her own memories by showing her a projection.
These memory tapes, they established in the first season, you can watch other people's memory tapes and that's fine, but if you watch your own, it fucks with you in weird ways.
Yeah. So she gets trapped in like a fucking End of Ava dreamscape, which was actually kind of cool. Like, it was a good scene. And then he leaves her there like fucking, he keeps replaying it, like the scene where she lies to him.
She's like, oh yeah, she's talking to Hazel as she's in her Kappa form, and she's like, Simon doesn't need to know.
Yeah.
And he has taken this as the ultimate betrayal, like finding out your favorite e-thought has a boyfriend.
Yeah. So he leaves her fucking dead, trapped in her own memories and a End of Ava shit. It was like, oh, that was neat. Pretty cool. That was almost worth sitting through fucking 30 episodes of this horse shit. Not that it's not that bad. Guys, I can exaggerate, right?
Yes.
I like to exaggerate. It's not terrible, okay?
For the sake of
entertainment. It's not bad. It's okay. It's just also fucking obnoxious sometimes, so I like to say that it's horse shit, okay? It's exaggeration. I exaggerate all the time on everything.
It's that angry video game nerd style exaggeration.
Exactly. That's my brand of humor because I'm not funny, okay? All right.
Anyway.
Anywho, so Grace is able to get out of it somehow. Did someone knock it away? I don't remember. It seemed like she just kind of got out of it.
Like, she started, it kind of put her into this zone where she was thinking about how her parents, I guess, like, she came from a super affluent family, but her parents always kind of, like, didn't really pay attention to her and pawned her off onto the nannies and things like that. And so she started acting out, and, like, she would go to the mall and steal shit, and her parents would then just be like, oh, you're not in trouble, and they would just argue with the mall until they dropped the issue so that their reputation wasn't tarnished.
Yeah.
And then, like, the ultimate thing that, like, drives her over that is that she's a big dancer. Her parents put her through all these dance lessons, and she's really good at dancing, but she goes to perform at her dance recital, and her parents aren't there. and it's this huge trauma for her
Yeah.
that, like, her parents put her through all this, but then they don't even bother showing up.
Yeah.
And so she works through all this, and it manages to break her out of the zonked state that
Yeah.
Simon put her in.
And, whatever. But she's like, I gotta go back and I gotta stop Simon, I guess.
Yep,
and
because
the
even though
Apex.
Hazel is gone, she knows that Simon is going to continue to butcher Knowles, and he's going
Yeah.
to teach the kids in the Apex
And
to be
because
unnecessarily brutal.
She has come to terms with the fact because the woman they met had explained to them the truth of you got to get your number down to get off the train. No shit, Sherlock.
She comes to terms with that, and Simon is still like,
Yeah.
nah.
She's like, oh, I gotta tell all the other kids we need to get off this fucking train, like a
And of course,
reasonable person.
Simon is like, the train is our birthright.
Yeah,
You're like,
it's
shut
the
the
train is
fuck
our
up,
birthright.
dude.
There's a false conductor. It's a false conductor's lies.
Don't believe Ondor's lies.
Yes. So she gets back with the Apex. They're all calling her. What do they call her? Something.
They call her a void.
A void. She's void.
Which is a term that Simon has gone and made up for
Yeah,
previous
yeah,
leaders.
eyelash.
Thank you. Previous leaders of the Apex who have allowed their numbers to fall and now are no longer fit to be leader, and therefore they must have the wheel.
Yes, dumb shit. So all the kids are like, "Oh, you're a void. You suck." Ugh.
We're gonna wheel you, bitch!
And then Simon comes out and he's got
The
a
God
cape
King
now,
himself.
and his hair's all slicked back.
It's a real FMA Brotherhood
Yeah.
homunculus kind of thing.
And somehow his number has gone all the way up one arm around his
It's
neck and down
fucking
the
just
other arm.
poof everywhere.
Even though, like, the conductor
he
lady's
do?
number wasn't that...
What
Like, what?
did he
Yeah, what did
do?
he... Did he just start murdering people
like,
left
were
and
you
right?
were you raping Knowles?
Like,
Like, what were you doing?
Consider that murdering Tuba only got his number up to, like, here.
What did he do?
What the fuck did he do?
What did you fucking do, bro?
He must have raped something.
That's gotta be it.
I think his incel rage built up
His
to
incel rage.
a peak. He
Yeah.
couldn't handle that Grace was gone, and he's like, fuck it, I've been holding back raping Grace all this time, even though I'm an incel simp. I'm gonna just start raping fucking munchkins on this train. Just like all the happy little munchkins getting fucking railed by Simon as he
It's
goes
gotta
on
be
a
what it is.
rampage. That's
It's
the
gotta
only
be
way he
it.
could get his number that high.
Someone write an Infinity Train erotic fanfiction, please.
If murdering Tuba wasn't enough, then like, I don't, he had to really
worse
be
than murder?
fucking shit
Rape.
up. Yeah. I need I need a season about Simon's in between, like, just murdering all the...
Becoming the Mad King.
Yeah, becoming the Mad King. But anywho, so she meets Simon. Simon's like, "Meh, you're a void, meh, meh." And then she's like, kids, the truth is that fucking we gotta get off this train and shit. Get your numbers down. And the kids are all like, wait, I can go home? And Simon's like, no,
No
don't
one
listen to
told
her.
me
No,
that.
meh. And so they end up having a little fight.
They have a skirmish.
They have a scrap. It's a neat little scrap between Grace and Simon.
I mean, coming off watching Korra and another show that we've been watching recently,
pretty
and then
sad,
watching that
yeah.
fight scene, you're like, "Aw, that's
Oh yeah,
precious."
and then they're fighting, and she saves Simon from falling off the train,
Yes.
and then he pushes her off the train. It's like, fuck you.
Well, here's where another fucking Deus Ex, how the fuck does this work?
Yes.
Is like one of the Gomes is just around, and that's how she saves him, is like because they're hiding from it, and he's got his gravity boots and he's stuck to the underside of
Yeah.
the bridge, and he starts to slip, but Grace catches him.
Yes.
And you're like,
But
all
then
right.
he pushes her off, and she's saved by origami birds,
Because she was nice to
Yeah.
the denizens of an origami car.
which means that the origami birds are somehow now outside
They
to
can
save
leave
her.
the car, even though Mirror Tulip couldn't leave
Yeah,
her car.
I don't know.
I guess the reflective...
Well,
Atticus was able to leave his car, so maybe that rule
any of
actually
them,
is fine.
Yeah, Mirror Tulip just couldn't leave because of
She
the mirror.
needed a mirror.
Either way, it's retarded that they were out there to save her.
Yeah, like, why would
but,
they?
So she gets rescued, and then the fucking, what is it called? The doggy?
The Gome.
The Gome just fucking murders Simon!
It's really funny, because, so... When Grace pulls Simon up from falling off of the bridge, they both land on their backs on the
Yeah.
bridge. And, like, they kind of turn and look at each other for a minute, and Grace has this moment of just, like, all right, we're gonna work things out, and then Simon's like, nah, and he just kicks her off the bridge.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, shit. And so the origami cranes save Grace, and then as Grace is being, like, fluttered back up, the Gome just jumps up and, like, lands on Simon, and is just like, and sucks his soul out of his body, and he disintegrates into dust and turns into a skeleton!
Like, it blasts him, and his flesh burns off into his skeleton, and then his skeleton disintegrates. And it's like...
It's so good. It's the best thing that happens in this show.
The most animated thing in the fucking show, and it's, like, graphic, and you're like, what? This came out of fucking nowhere!
It's like that Indiana Jones movie where the guy's face melts off, and you're
Yeah.
kind of like, why is something so graphic happening in Indiana Jones? But it's really cool.
And it felt like, not only did we kind of already beat this guy, but, like... Whoa!
It was pretty sick. Not gonna lie.
It was sick. It was hilarious. It made me clap and holler, and I was just like, I did not expect that at all. And then it's just like over.
Yeah.
Grace is like, I'm gonna get the kids off the car.
Grace
and then
gets back on the bridge. The little origami guys let her down on the bridge, and then she's like, all right, kids, we're gonna get your numbers down.
yeah,
And she gives the camera a wink and a smile.
done.
And Simon is evaporated, nuked.
Yeah.
Which, he deserved it. Fuck Simon.
So I don't know if Grace will continue to be a character in season 4.
We'll
I doubt
probably
it.
see her
Yeah.
as a side character.
I was hoping that it's just implied that she gets off, you know, because that's obviously she was getting her number down. She's gonna get off the train. You don't need to know what happens to her.
We'll hear
you
her
know?
probably either she'll be a side character or we'll hear her referenced because
Yeah.
they've done like references to Atticus and all the other previous characters too. So like it may not be a big cameo, but we'll hear again.
Yeah, so that's the plot of the whole show. I don't know why we always summarize these things, but I assume that most people haven't fucking watched this, so hopefully you enjoyed us talking about it, and you don't go watch it, because unless it sounds like... Unless you're really bored, I guess? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
Maybe season 4 will be cool.
Maybe
Who
you're a
knows?
freak like us and you just like watching cartoons
Yeah.
during your spare time, even if they're not like that great.
Yeah. It might come as a shock to some people, but we just we enjoy watching stuff, and we just watch a lot of things.
Yeah, I guess.
And it doesn't have to be well reviewed or popular. It just has to
I just have a hard
you
time
know,
remembering the fact that
we'll just watch some stuff.
most normal people just watch whatever action movie comes out on Netflix on a Friday night, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like people I
it's-
work with are like that, and I'm like,
Or it's with Digi and Best Guy Ever with content, where it's they'll watch stuff for content, but they don't watch anything else really, you know?
yeah,
They're not watching anime on the side. That's it. They watch anime
That's
to talk
insane
about
to
it, and
me.
then it's that's it. And it's we when we talk about Korra, we were just watching Korra.
we just
and
happened
then
to
it was
decide to watch Korra.
Yeah, and then we watched all 4 seasons and talked about it all at once, because it was I'm not going to stop between seasons and do a video. I'm watching the show. I want to watch this
I want
shit.
to watch Korra.
So we're naturally just watching things all the time. Sometimes you run out of stuff to watch. If you're out of stuff to watch, Infinity Train. It's not... You'll get through it in 2 or 3 nights probably, and it'll be a thing that you watched, and
And, sometimes when we decide to randomly watch stuff like this, we
Yeah.
find things that actually we really enjoy.
Yeah.
There's something else we're watching right now that I was like, oh, on a whim, we should watch this. And I think we've been enjoying it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out.
And not everything has to be a masterpiece. Not everything has to be a 10 out of 10. As long as it makes you feel something. Infinity Train made me feel things.
It did make you feel
Because
something.
even if it's obnoxious, it's fast enough that you're not too bored, and it's something to talk about while you're watching it, you know?
Exactly.
It just gives you something to feel in life.
I would definitely rather watch something like Infinity Train that gives me feelings either good or bad than something that I just watch and go, I have nothing to say about that, and it didn't make me feel one way or the other. Whatever.
It's nice and easy to watch. But yeah, I guess that's our thoughts on Infinity Train. I mean, season 3 obviously much better than the first 2.
Season 3 by far the best.
Kind of at least made it feel like it wasn't a total waste of time.
I mean, as far as enjoyment goes, I enjoyed season 3.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Even
it.
if it was one of those oh man, this is kind of dumb.
Well, yeah,
but
it's
that's fun.
It's kind of dumb, and it's obviously it's hindered by the fact that the first 2 seasons weren't really good.
That's the worst thing, is you have to slog.
Yeah.
You have to make it through the first 2 seasons.
And then part of it's like, is this only good now because the other seasons were so boring? Versus, like, you know, if you took season 3 on its own, is it, like, a good show?
There's
you
the
know?
problem is you can't just watch the 3rd season.
Exactly. Like,
it's not a standalone concept.
And it still just feels like such a wasted potential of an idea of, like, if they could do anything more experimental with it. It's like, I appreciate that they come up with some interesting ideas in terms of, like, oh, let's have the kids that have been, like, they're exploring all the different angles of if this premise were to exist, what would happen? How does it work?
How would a
What's
human
going
interact
on?
with
Like,
that?
yeah.
From a bunch of different viewpoints.
And so that's interesting that they keep going back to the same setting with different characters to explore it from different angles. I like that they are exhausting the idea to that point, and it fleshes it out and makes it feel like the train is a thing. But then it's like, but the premise of the train itself is not interesting anymore.
No,
and it's too thin. So it's like,
yeah,
it's weird.
I mean, the idea of the infinity train basically being free therapy is kind of dumb.
And when you get to the point in season 3 where it's like, they've already abandoned the idea of the trials and all that, and it's just like the characters in the story don't even care about the train, you know?
Yeah.
There's no mystery to it anymore. We know who the conductor is. We know why the people are there. There's nothing to it. The characters now have to be literally insane and living in a false reality for there to be any plot.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty true. I mean, but there are certain aspects of it that are cool. Like, I did kind of like seeing, like, the processing plant where they were, like, extracting people's memories and making it into the tape and, like, giving them the number. And I was like, all right, that's kind of neat. I can dig that.
That kind of stuff is neat, you know?
And, like, the confrontation that goes on there and, like, watching chaos ensue as she's, like, as Mirror Tulip is, like, ripping people out of the bay where you put the number on. I'm like, Jesus Christ, just chill.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's good moments.
So there's cool bits.
There's stuff that rises out, usually towards the end of the season.
Good bits in there.
Typically, a season starts off with about 4 to 5 episodes of like, and then it gets good. Because season 3, we started it like, oh, fucking God, here we go. You did not want to see the Apex people.
I hated the Apex in season 2.
Yeah.
Because they make no sense to me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you want your number to be as high as possible. You want to live on the train forever. Why?
That's right, because you
What's
literally
the goal?
couldn't comprehend why they would want to live on the train forever. And I'm like, but they don't want to go back to even though they don't explore it in an interesting way in the end.
You're gonna get old, and you're gonna need normal things, and then you're gonna die.
If they explored it as our lives sucked before, we prefer it here where there's no parents, no rules, we can do chaos, we can do whatever we want, we're the gods of this society, like,
but they
I
don't
could get
really
that,
do
but
that.
they don't go into that.
They just arbitrarily go, big number, big number.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
why?
like, and then you hear their backstories, it's like their lives weren't even that bad, you know, they're not escaping anything.
Right.
Like, if it were, like...
Especially when they have, like, a big horde of normal kids who they're then forcing into this ideology. And it's like, what if these kids want to fucking go home, dude? Like, the fuck?
I was expecting more of a... You don't want to go back to your parents because all adults are evil kind of thing. And they don't go
They don't
deep
really
enough
do
in
that
that
at all.
direction. It becomes this weird, retarded, twisted philosophy. And I would have preferred it if they were aware of how to get off and actively going against that.
Yes,
that would have been
I think
more interesting.
if there had been awareness of what the goal of the train was and how you could get off the train and they were choosing not to do it, that would have been a better way to approach it.
Or maybe their leader was doing that and misleading everyone, you know?
Rather than
like,
just saying, false conductor bad, big number good. Like, that's not a motivation, dude.
And they could have done, like, an intricate look at their group in society and had a conspiracy with the leader, but they didn't do any of that. They just got them out of the group immediately so that they can do the same premise as every other season, which is they go through a bunch of cars and learn things, you know?
Wow, I sure did learn.
So it's like the beginning concept and the ending action scenes are okay, and the middle is just like... Anywho, that's Infinity Train.
Wow, this sure was an infinite talk about Infinity Train.
I hope this didn't turn into another hour and 15-minute long
it's
fucking
definitely
shit.
an hour and 15
Guys,
minutes
I'm sorry for how
long.
long all of our fucking discussions are. I know it's just an overwhelming amount of shit to listen to. Because then I'm like, normally if we had talked about Infinity Train, it would have taken us like 5 minutes on a Vic and Hope Let's Play, and that would have been it. And then that greater Let's Play would have been like 45 minutes to an hour long. But now we've talked about Infinity Train for an hour and 15 minutes, and no one cares about Infinity Train. I don't know.
The key is to success. Talk about cartoons no one watches.
Infinitely.
For an infinite amount of time.
An infinite amount of time. An excessive amount of time while you recap the entire plot for people who, I guess, haven't seen it. But if you haven't seen it, you're not going to click the fucking video because that's what everyone does. If you haven't already seen the show, you're never going to watch the video, even though we make it so in the video we explain the whole show in case you hadn't seen it because you probably shouldn't watch it. Anywho. Damn YouTube. Damn you. Oh, Vic and Hope Patreon. I mean, you probably know that if you're watching this. Check it out. Bonus episodes. Support us on on my journey to have a secondary income to help support my life and my staying alive. Check out all the anime videos we've done, good shit.
There's a couple.
B&A analysis. We got the fucking done quicks. We got all anime is cringe. Check them out. There's no way anyone new to the channel has made it this far. So, all right.
I was gonna say, at this point, I feel like we should just advertise all that shit at the beginning of the video.
And content!